Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Hello, boys and girls. Yes, I've got socks on. No shoes. I'm a thug. Probably wrong. I'm a rebel. That's what we'll say. I'm a rebel because I don't have any shoes on in my own apartment. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Tajon, and I'm here once again with a little bit of a festive situation going on, as you can see. Yesterday, I went to Big Lots with a super duper small budget for Christmas shopping, but anybody that knows me knows that I'm the Christmas king, and I literally, if I showed you my living room right now, it's like Christmas threw up all over it. My life is synonymous with the Elf movie. I really feel like Will Ferrell stole that role for me completely. I'm fine with it though. I've had a lot of time to simmer down, just to get it together. I went on my Eat, Pray, Love journey about it, and I'm okay. Long story short, I went into Big Lots with like a certain small number that I was thinking to spend money on, and definitely walked out having spent twice that amount with a smile on my face, no cares in the world, blood pressure low, and acne free. Because you know what? If I'm gonna spend a lot of money, okay, on a season, it's gonna be crumble. It's gonna be crumble. Jesus, goals and dreams, Christmas, Michael Jackson. I mean, am I making myself clear? Just wanna make myself clear there. I love Christmas. Okay. So in light of Christmas, you see this wonderful number I have on today. I wore these pants on Thanksgiving. First of all, let me just give you a little taste test. Get into it. Look at these pants. Aren't they everything? Don't want to show you too much of the behind, but you see what let me give you a Macy's. Let me give you a Macy's commercial. Cast a little fishing net into the ocean saying if anybody had any sticky situations that they wanted advice on how to get out of, that I was open and free and willing to give them a little bit of my insight and offer some of my advice if that would be helpful in any way. So a couple of you gave me some email submissions back, and I'm so excited about that. Thank you so much for reaching out. Okay, looks like we have our first anonymous email that says, "Hello Taj, my boss frequently loses his temper and yells at me in front of coworkers. What should I do?" Okay, this is a hard one, not gonna lie, because I've been in a situation like this before. And the only thing I can do when I try to tell these stories is I listen to what your question is, and I try to like give my life experience. That way I'm not going into too much detail and telling anybody's business. So I used to work at a place, a restaurant, when I was in college. And it was a pretty cool restaurant. At least I thought. I went for an interview. The boss seemed super chill, super nice, super supportive of me and my goals. And I was really, very much on board with doing the job. I was a kid in college, just trying to make ends meet, some extra spending money for going out with friends and stuff like that. And so I got the job, and the boss told me I was overqualified for the position. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. But I really quickly realized that I was indeed, in fact, overqualified for the position. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. The first day that I started at the job, everything was okay. Like it wasn't like the best job I had ever done. And I am a pretty steadfast person on the job. I don't quit. You know, I have a positive attitude in any job that I do. I try to have a positive attitude. And this situation, from day one, I could tell that the boss had this really condescending, passive-aggressive, and sometimes just downright rude and mean-spirited personality towards his coworkers. And I felt like I was in some alternate universe because the coworkers that were working with me, they just took it. They ignored it, they took it, and they just kind of kept their heads down and didn't say anything. And I'm just not built that way. And I remember when I first started at that job, when I even interviewed, I interviewed to be a waiter. And at this establishment, all the waiters were white. And when I went and got hired, I realized I was not hired to be a waiter. I was hired to be a sous chef, which Nothing on my resume called for being a sous chef. Nothing on my resume gave me qualifications for that. Which I know it's not necessarily, you know, a high qualifying position, but you know what I'm saying. I go to the back of the restaurant and all the people there are not white. So that lets you know what kind of establishment this was. First time that I actually expressed my opinion on, hey, you know, maybe this isn't the best way to talk to an employee. Maybe you could be a little bit more nice. He began to cuss me out and belittle me and just talk down on me. Needless to say, the point is, I was actually so stressed out about that job that I was getting sick. Like, every time I would wake up knowing I had to go into work, I was getting nauseated and I was like throwing up and it was just bad. And I went on Google and was looking up like, should I, you know, just like asking, you know, when you go on Google and you just ask random questions and see what Google will say. And I was like, you know, something to the effect of having problems at work, stressed out, should I quit? Because I never quit a job before and I was very adamant about not quitting, you know. But when I looked it up, I remember it saying if you are in a situation where you're stressed to the point where there are physical representations or physical manifestations of that stress, then you should immediately quit the job. So I was obviously broke, didn't have a lot of money, but I took a stance for myself and I quit. I quit that job. And I would give you the same advice. If it's causing you a lot of stress, if you aren't happy going into your job, if you aren't at least content, because I know we all have some work that we do and it's not necessarily, it's definitely grunt work and we're not necessarily happy about it. First of all, no one's happy about work unless you are actively pursuing your purpose in your job, which I hope all of you are actively trying to do, like I am. But there is a difference between being satisfied at a working position and just being stressed out to the point of tears and vomiting and nauseation every time. I don't know if that's a word, but we're gonna mosey over that like it didn't happen. So I would say that you should quit this job if it's getting you to that point. Alright, anonymous email number 2 says, I'm addicted to my phone. Any tips for breaking the spell? It was Mother's Day and I remember I was sitting at a restaurant eating with my mom. I was really on my phone and I was kind of like looking up stuff on the social apps and my mom was trying to strike conversation with me and I wasn't purposefully ignoring her, but because I was looking at social media, I was ignoring her. And I just glanced up after I was looking at social media and I saw her like playing with her food with her fork. And my mom does not play with her food. So I immediately started realizing, wow, you are really subtracting a lot of quality time with your parent over this. You gotta put it down. Like, quickly realize, like, my mom is, I got a whole mom sitting right there, H-O-L-E. I got a whole mom sitting right there waiting to spend time with me, and I'm so stuck in this phone, it's really disrespectful to her. And I put my phone down, and for the rest of the day, it was me and mom. Needless to say, this year for the holidays, when I came down for Thanksgiving, it was swapped. We were at a restaurant, and she was on her phone, and I had to literally grab her and be like, Mom, I would like to spend time with you. Please put your phone down. And she was like, it was kind of funny. But no one's immune to technology and the addictions that come with it. What I would say is the Play Store has some wonderful apps for turning off your social media at certain times and turning it on at certain times. Also, I know it's simple, but just kind of do it like Nike says. Put the phone down, hide it in a closet, put it underneath your pillow, and just dedicate 2 to 3 hours of non-phone time. You will be so surprised at how productive you will be once you put your phone down. A lot of people say, I don't have enough time for this or that. Between social media and TV, you will be surprised how much time you have to get things done. On to question 3. Okay, it says, hey Taj, I'm not a personal assistant, but my boss continuously asks me to pick up her dry cleaning. How do I stand up to her without losing my job? Easy. In these situations, honesty is so key. Okay? Honesty is so key. I can't stress it enough. Listen, you don't have to be disrespectful, but you can just be upfront and say, hey, I noticed that recently I've been doing a lot of things that are not necessarily inside my lines and parameters of what my job description is. I don't mind doing these things, but I would like to be compensated for those things extra. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for more money. Never at any point in your job, you should be afraid of asking for more money. If you feel like the work that you're putting in is representative and is deserving of more of a amount on your paycheck, always be an advocate for yourself in order to get paid what you feel like you deserve and what you feel like you are due. Especially if you're feeling a gap in the workplace that other people are not feeling. You know that you have that, you know that you bring that special je ne sais quoi to the workplace. Make sure you capitalize on that and make sure you let people know, hey, you ready? You ready to pay me what I'm worth? There's nothing wrong with that. As long as it's done from a place of respect for your boss or your employer, just make sure your needs are being met. If they say no, then they should automatically know not to ask you to do it anymore. And if they don't, you just say, hey, I would appreciate not to do this anymore. It's not in my job description. When it comes to business, be straightforward, to the point, because guess what? They don't care about you. They care about the work that you do, and when you clock out, they could care less. Honestly, most of the times, in most occasions, they don't care. So, I hope that helps. Number 4 says, I can't sleep at night. Any tips for people with insomnia? Okay, so I'll be honest, this is not an issue that I struggle with. But what I will say is I've had friends that have struggled with it, and the things that they tend to try to do, the things that they try to do are go to your doctor and see if your doctor can prescribe you sleeping medication. But I always try to go for a holistic approach before any of those things, before medication's involved. Look up on Google. There's a ton of different things that you can look up on Google that will give you kind of a direction to go in that will help you figure out a sleeping schedule that fits for you. Also, I will say that having a strict sleeping routine and schedule is number 1. You can't be going to sleep at 9 o'clock one night, at 3 o'clock the next night, at 1 a.m. the other time, and expecting that your sleep schedule is gonna be there, or that you're gonna want to be sleepy at the time that you go to sleep. If every time you go to sleep is a different time. Just like when we were kids, our parents would put us to sleep at the same time every night. No matter how much we hated it, our body immediately knew at a certain point, for us it was like 8 o'clock, that it's time to go to sleep. And no matter how much you tried to fight it, your body was like, no, you're going down. You're going down. At 8 o'clock, it just happens. And so that's step number 1. Get a sleeping schedule. Be strict about it. Very strict. Hope that helps. Alright, so that's all the questions I have for today. I want to just talk to you about a couple of my obsessions. Number 1 is an artist. Her name is Raja Kumari. She is a, I guess I would say, Hindu hip-hop artist. She is amazing. She put out an EP about, I think, 2 years ago, around the same time I released my EP, and it was called The Come Up. And this girl is a rapper. Now, she's a singer first, and she was trying to take over the industry with her music, which she completely could have done it as a vocalist solely, but she's a rapper as well. And this girl is so dope. Like, the amount of dopeness that this girl has. First of all, I love the fact that she's bringing a new twist to the hip-hop game. That she's introducing the fact that other cultures besides white people and black people can really craft a wonderful hip-hop sound. And she's doing it while still being herself. She's still including her roots, her Indian roots in her music. And I think it's just so mind-blowing. And it really teaches me more and more each day that I should never be ashamed of where I come from and the person I truly am on the inside. And I should continuously hit people with my authenticity and my truth. Love her, love her, love her. She has a new single out called Shook. And I was shook when I heard it. It's been on repeat all week. Oh my gosh, I love her. Anyway, Christmas song, because I feel like it's the season. 'Tis the season to be telling you Christmas songs that I'm obsessed with. Christmas songs that I'm obsessed with. My number 1 draft pick right now is Tajonyx rendition of The First Noel. Oh, I can't even tell you. Like, that song is hands down one of my favorite Christmas carols reimagined. Like, beautiful. I cannot listen to that song without crying. It's just so beautiful. Make sure you check them out. Also, I have an EP. It's on Spotify, Pandora, Noise Trade, SoundCloud, any of the streaming vehicles. Make sure you check it out. It's called Armor of Onyx. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and you can check out my music videos from that last project. I would appreciate any support you can give me, okay? I love you all. Have a great, great holiday season. It's here. See you later. Bye. And make sure you subscribe.